Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Chantel from Business Finance Bootcamp, and we're here with another interesting video for you. Before we get into this video, as usual, I'd like to invite you to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Be a part of the discussion on the topic of rainy day fun. What is a rainy day fund? Well, your rainy day fund is the little money that you set aside for in case of emergencies. All right, and so I want to share a bit of tips with you on how to put aside a rainy day fund. Life happens. Your rainy day fund is for your emergencies, things that happen that are unexpected. Say, for example, you're eating popcorn and your teeth is chipped. Well, that's an emergency. Where do you get that money from to go to the dentist? It's not something you're prepared for. But if you have your rainy day fund set aside, those are the monies that you will use to go to the dentist with. If you're someone who drives, even for example, you're driving and you have a tire that went flat or burst. Where do you get the monies from to immediately go out and buy a tire? That's not cheap, right? And that's one of the reasons why you need to make sure that you have your rainy day fund or your emergency fund set aside. But how do you go about putting together an emergency fund? Well, I want to encourage you that every time you get paid, you set aside a portion of your salary. It's up to you to decide how much you want to set aside. What I do for my family, I ensure that we have at least $1,000 set aside. Now, $1,000 might not be enough for an emergency, but at least it's a start. It's a start to get you somewhere. It's better to have something than not to have anything. All right. So for me, we put aside $1,000 we put that aside for emergencies, and of course, we build on it. You might not have $1,000 to put away right away, but I want to encourage you to start to put aside a little bit every time you get paid. Do not take your savings for granted. Emergencies happen without us even knowing it, and that's why it's called an emergency fund. That fund is only to be used when there are things that spring up, expenses that spring up on you without you knowing. The emergency fund is there to give you a boost or give you a buffer. Now, why do you need an emergency fund? There are many reasons why you need an emergency fund. Well, I want to share a few with you. The first thing is that you will be prepared. Like I said before, when you have an emergency, it helps you to be prepared or somewhat prepared. When you have an emergency fund or a rainy day fund, you are prepping for all the unexpected expenses that might come. The next reason why you need to have a rainy day fund is that you save money. You don't use a credit card as an emergency fund. People, don't do that. Do not use your credit card as an emergency fund. Remember, your credit card is not funds that you have. Unless you're using your debit card, that's cash that's for you. All right, so don't use your credit card as an emergency fund. Emergencies are expensive. Emergencies are expensive enough without you paying interest on them for months and months. Remember, with your credit card, once you use it, you will have to pay interest on it, right? You don't want to go into debt when there's an emergency unless it's more than $1,000 you have set aside. Having cash in hand means that emergencies are paid in full. So you could buy that whole tire that you need. You might not be able to pay the dentist in completion to fixing your teeth, but at least you have some monies to put down. The next reason why you need to have a rainy day fund is that you'll feel peace. Now, having this fund, it gives you an ease of mind. You don't have to be running or trying to figure out where will I get monies from. Or one of the worst things is trying to borrow it from somebody else. You don't want to find yourself in a place where you are borrowing money from somebody else to cover emergencies. You want to make sure that you have emergencies covered. One way you can do that, like I said in the beginning of the video, is to put aside put aside some funds. Maybe if you make $200 for the week, ensure that you're putting aside 10%, which is like $20 from your salary every week faithfully, just as you pay like bill up water bills. Savings, having a savings is very much important. All right, and so I don't want this video to go long, so we'll pause there. And as you venture off into this new week, remember, if you have not been setting aside monies for a rainy day, please begin to start. All right, make it a commitment for you to put aside monies for emergency. You might just face an emergency today or this coming week that you weren't prepared for, and you remember this video that encouraged you to do so. All right, so with that, I want to let you know that I am a financial coach and I do coaching, one-on-one coaching, and I also do coaching for groups. If you are interested in getting some coaching lessons on budgeting, money savings, on retirement, then reach out to me. I have my email address here at the bottom of the screen, and I also have a link in the description. Check it out and let me know if you would like some coaching. Thank you once again for joining me for another video here, and with that I say, see you in another video.